I'm JJ Barnes, that's Jonathan McKinney.
Hello.
And that down there is Molly Dog. And you are watching another episode of Writing, Talking and Dog Walking. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of making sure your characters are all distinct and all different.
Okay, yeah, that's important.
I think it's quite easy to fall into a trap as a writer, especially if you're a new writer, of kind of making all the characters versions of yourself.
Right.
So they all talk, they'll have very realistic conversations, but the conversations will be almost like you're talking to yourself. They are not distinct, they are not different people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is a trap to avoid, and especially if you have a big ensemble cast, say for instance in your Shieldmaids books,
Okay.
or Emerald Wren, a book I wrote.
Yeah.
If you have a large cast of characters who are all going to be interacting, if they are not all completely distinct, different people, your audience is going to find them tiresome.
Yeah. And also you're going to lack drama because a bunch of clones aren't going to disagree about anything.
Yeah.
They're not going to push each other to change about themselves, anything about themselves. Variety in the world in terms of psychological profiles or whatever.
Exactly.
Variety makes people improve because we learn from each other. We
Definitely.
we grow and we change, and we can't really if we're all exactly the same.
And the thing is okay to not like one of your characters, because that was something I struggled with, especially when I first started writing, was if a character I'd written, I needed them to behave in a way I didn't like, react to something in a way that I personally was like, well, I think that's quite unreasonable. I wouldn't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
That was
like,
a problem?
Yeah, I didn't like that because
right.
I was like, I want to like my characters. You're like, it's fine. Like, not the baddies, like the villains, it's fine. I'll have the villains do terrible things that I wouldn't do. But characters that are my protagonists, or at least significant main characters, I don't have that problem now. I like doing it now.
Yeah.
But when I first started out, I was like, I don't like when you do this.
Do better, fictional character.
Yes, be better fictional character. Because I was like, I kind of felt like it was a reflection on me.
Right.
Sort of like, if I felt that behaviour was unreasonable and I wrote it, then it was sort of as if I was condoning it. Like, this is a good way to behave. But it's not that. You don't have to, like, I really had to get over this.
Right.
Because I wanted always to like my characters.
Okay.
Because, as I say, I felt that they were reflections of me. So now, if I'm writing an ensemble, so for instance, we're writing Hollowhead, this film that we are going into production on in January.
Yes.
We have an ensemble cast. We have 6 main characters.
We do.
And some of them behave badly sometimes. Some of them say things that aren't very nice sometimes. Some of them do things that I wouldn't personally do, or speak in a way, and that's good because it means they are all distinct, unique people. And it makes it so much more entertaining if you've got different personalities.
Yeah. Not just entertaining, it's vital to have
and
different
it's more
personalities. So yeah, there's a number of ways you can work on your own ability to diversify, and not just in the sense of skin colour and sexual orientation, but in terms of the character types. You can diversify your cast. So there's different philosophical points of view. Okay, you just look, in the UK right now, we're about to have a general election. Bring that up with 10 different people, and you'll hear 10, reasonable to unreasonable points of view. You then have 10 essential, like, micro character types.
Yeah.
You're reducing those people down to their one political view
but
that you've got out of them.
You can build up from that.
Yeah, totally.
And it's also a good idea, I think, as well as once you've broken them up into their 10 different personality types based on
one
thing.
Question and answer.
Give each of them a specific way of speaking. So, for instance, in Hollowhead, as a reference point, Bethany,
right?
She's quite abrasive. She's sharp. She's zero fucks given. She is, yeah. You know what I mean? Which is a distinct character.
Yeah.
Then you'll have Olivia, who is much more sensitive, more bleeding heart, more vulnerable.
Right.
Penelope, who is much more literal and logical and scientifically brained. And when you can see that those different personalities exist, it's easy to play with them.
Yeah.
You can have them. You can put your question, your political question, or your moral question, whatever you want, to this group of characters, what are we going to do tonight?
Yeah.
And because it's something as simple as what we're going to do tonight, because you've established that these are different people with different personalities and different ways of speaking and thinking, it becomes interesting.
It does. And like the thing about human beings from the perspective of a storyteller is that they are eternally complicated and surprising. So it shouldn't be the case that you figure out all of your characters like that and you know how they're going to respond in every situation. Because
layers.
Humans surprise you.
Like an onion.
Very much so. So this is why when I used to watch films as a child, a teenager, or a young man, I was never as unforgiving about character breaks as I am as a writer. Because when I was younger, I was like, well, people are surprising. I'm not surprised that this character's behaving erratically because that's what human beings are like. You don't always know how people are going to react. In real life, you don't see the arc that comes before the change.
I mean, that's a fair point, but I think
in stories,
a good writer needs to put
I'm not saying that that I was forgiving this storytelling flaw because it deserves to be forgiven or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I was surprised by people because people are surprising, and so I would forgive that particular fault in a story. Forgive sounds a bit lofty. I don't think it's my thing to forgive, but I do notice it now, and I would think, I would change that, I would do a better job of that. But the thing for you to understand as you're telling stories with your characters is that if your character's got multiple layers, and onions, so they got multiple onions, and they're just throwing onions at you all the time. They're getting into onion fights. It's so weird, but it's really interesting and entertaining. Forget that. The point is...
I'm so not editing that out.
The point is that, you start with these core points, literal, bleeding heart, abrasive. And from there, what really gets interesting is when these characters maintain those things, but they surprise you.
And they are challenged to change them.
Or that they are just more complicated than that. And you see different aspects.
And it's still their core.
Yeah.
Their core personality is still the same thing. But you can tangent off and show maybe why one of them is particularly abrasive. Has she got a past that makes her hard-shelled? But then you can see the vulnerability on the inside. As long as you stay true to the truth of the character's core, you can diversify off and show the different layers, the vulnerability, the anger, the pain. You can show it all, as long as it all stems from your original character core. Yeah,
because there's something quite satisfying when you're reading a book or you're watching a film, when you're engaging with an abrasive character, say for example, someone who is worse than Bethany, I'd say.
I like Bethany so much.
Someone who's downright mean, maybe, but you see a bit of humanity and you understand somewhere where that meanness came from. And it doesn't mean you're like, it's totally fine to be mean.
No, but it makes them more human.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it does. Is it humanizes them, and there is a catharsis to seeing a person be not their best, and then feeling for them. Because none of us are our best all the time, and we want to believe that we're still worth something, we're still redeemable, we can be recognised as human. So
you know what, that's a really good point, because if you've got a really good character who people are like, this is an inspirational and aspirational, a beautiful...
Superman.
Yeah, if you give them a flaw...
Oh right, not Superman.
Not Superman, but, if you give them a flaw and you show them sometimes behave in a way that isn't the best, it does make them, people are like, it's okay. Because sometimes I'm a knob.
Right.
Most of the time, I'm trying my best to be a good person, and I want to be like this character. And flawless characters are boring for this reason. You can't relate to them. Nobody is flawless. So when you have got a character that you relate to, and you see them do something that is a bit wrong, or a bit mean, or just in some way not the good choice, it makes you relate to them more. And that is good storytelling as well, because the more characters you have that you can relate to, the more your audience will be engaged, the more likely they are to keep reading, keep watching, because they are connected.
To bring it all the way back, the crucial point about having a diverse cast of characters in a personality sense is that you will have fertile ground for conflict at every level. So at the scene level, You don't want your gang of heroes to agree about everything because it's boring. We come to an agreement after 5 seconds. Plus, you'll have readers out there who don't agree with their thing, and they're like, I'm not represented by this group of people.
Exactly.
Represent as many different viewpoints as you can, and you can't satisfy everybody. So you've got a group of heroes, and they're trying to figure out the best way to tackle a problem. And maybe one group is like, we need to be pragmatic and do what we need to do to get the end result we need. The means justify the end. And the other people are like, no, if we do that, we're no better than the bad guys, right? Then someone's going to end up disappointed. They're not going to get what they want, but you've got to move forward. So that's interesting. It's entertaining. It's chewy, I guess.
It gives you something to think about.
Yeah,
and, like,
if you
be enraptured by.
Yeah, whereas if all the characters are you, my friend, then we aren't going to have that. We're just going to be reading your diary, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's great for you, that you've got all of these imaginary friends who all agree with you, but it's not a book, it's not a story, particularly.
Yeah, I
agree.
100%.
Approach.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, thank you very much for watching our video on why you need to have characters. They're all different and interesting.
Great.
If you could like this video and subscribe to our channel, we can keep bringing you the free writing advice that we hope you are enjoying. Check out our other videos because we've got loads of them out there, all of them about different subjects, different technical advice or different style advice on writing, and they are all on this channel, so go look at them all. There's going to be links up here and down there. Just click them, you'll find them. If you have any questions on videos you want us to do, questions you want us to answer, books you particularly want us to talk about, styles you're interested in, drop a comment below and we will try and do a video on every single question, or come and find us on social media. Again, links are all in the description below. We're on Twitter. I'm Judy-Ann Rose and he's John Merck, and we are always talking to other writers over there. There's a wonderful writing community, big one, where we're all asking questions and answering and talking and encouraging, and it's brilliant. So go find us over there. And yeah, thank you very much. Oh, there will be description link down there as well to the Hollow Hood, so you can see who is Bethany, who Olivia, who Penny, all these people. Go have a look, and we'll be bringing you interviews with those cast as well. So thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.